Hello crafters, and welcome back to the trade table. Today I'm going to be showing you how I manage to sculpt this chest and planks out of 1. Super Sculptey firm and 2. Standard Sculptey. Now you want to use your standard Sculptey for stuff like bases like I did here because it's a very cheap material. You get about double the amount for what you'd get. Besides, this is like $13. This is the stuff I'm using. It also comes in several different colors, including this brown, but I like using different colors so I know which ones it is. So as you can see, here's my first chest, and I'm going to be showing you how to do that. The first thing you want to do, though, is take a X-Acto knife, like the one here. This is actually from a kit from Pat Catan's. You can find it. It comes in a blue box, and it'll be like this. It comes with 3 blades, one small, one large, and one medium. I'm using the medium right now because it's the sharpest. As you can see, there's all different sorts of blades. I have not gotten to use those yet, since I want to preserve them because I can't find refills for those types. So the first thing you want to do is cut out like a shape of what you want. And this is a very simple step since, you know, all you have to do is carve out a box. So I'm going to move this to the side here. As you can see, this is in semi-scale with more of the figures. This is a small chest, supposed to be a bit of shipwreck or, you know, floorboards and stuff left behind. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my clay and with the back of my blade, start putting in these little lines, trying to be careful and slowly sculpt them. So I'm gonna cut back to this once I have all these done for this cube, you know, just to save your time. So what you're left with is this. As you can see, it has these lines scored into it. Now this doesn't look like a crate yet, so the next thing you want to do is, with your sharp end, kind of like as you see here, score the lines in for where you want the planks, very carefully, making sure they're not as deep as the actual cuts for the actual planks. So you can still distinguish which ones are planks and which ones are little grain patterns. Ignore the steps upstairs, please. Unfortunately, since I'm in a basement right now, my crafting studio that is, so I don't make much of a mess. You are going to hear some stepping around upstairs. That's unavoidable, since I'm right in the busy part of the house. I can't move my studio at all. And just like that, the wood grain is done, and it's starting to look more like a wood cube. Now, I would add on the actual barriers now, but since this is such a small object, I'm gonna cut back to when I have this cooked. I'm gonna attach it to the base, though, for now. So, I put the actual clay models in the oven. So while I wait, I'm gonna take this little piece of Super Sculptey here, and I'm gonna use my blade, carefully making sure not to put my finger on the edge. I'm gonna roll it out using it as a pseudo rolling pin, but I do advise you use an actual rolling pin or a any sort of tool that could flatten, like a pencil or something. Only if it has flat edges, not one of those octagonal like it doesn't roll pencils or a wooden dowel or something. I'm using this because it's metal, and because it's metal, it won't exactly, like, how can I explain this? Need a bit more rolled. Making sure it gets to a consistent height, and I just screwed up a bit of it. Now, to make sure it doesn't stick, which it is, I'm going to peel up from one side, flip it over, and you'll have a perfectly flat edge. Now, this area here, as you can see, I'm gonna have to roll it out a bit more, making sure it's good. Now make sure to always flip it, or every 2 or 3 rolls, so it doesn't end up like getting stuck to the table. For example, if I'll take this piece here, I'm gonna do this as an example. Do not do this, where you just go and roll it. Either it gets stuck to your pin, or if you continuously roll it out on the table without lifting it. I'm gonna see if I can get that result. This is about the same thickness. And then you try to lift it. Oh, well, you know what? It's a non-stick table, but if you have wood tables and stuff, it might stick. So, you know, just be aware of that. And I'll cut back to when I have the thing ready. And I'll cut this into strips and use it as the actual border lines around the crate, like I did with the chest. So I'll see you then. And I'm back. What I managed to do was put some strips of the Sculptey around the edges of the box, and did the same method as I did for the actual planks. And here we have a crate. So basically, just so I could show you, I lost the footage earlier, but what I basically did was took this, cut a thin strip, something like this, which I'll use this in the actual base for now. Might as well not waste the work I'm doing. Then, you know, you would square off the edges here and here. You can't see it because I have this close up to me. But like that, you end up with this bar. Then go through with the sharp edge of the thing. And don't cut all the way, just kind of score in the lines of where the grain would be leaving details on. Now, I like to do this before and then after I attach it to the base. So I'll take this, I'll just apply it. Since this is something that is a bit smaller and supposed to be on top of these other pieces of wood, I'm just gonna have to roll it on too with my little rubber tool here. You can find these rubber tools fairly easily on eBay. Do not get them from Packetans, though. They say they're deluxe edition tools. They're like $40 there. You could get the same thing on eBay for about $6. And it's just because there's one company that basically has a slight monopoly on them. Because apparently rubber stamping tools this small are not used often. Okay, then I get my, as you can see here, I attach that there. Now I'll get my scoring tool once more, and I'll add more lines. That is if this would want to stay down. It doesn't, however, which is unfortunate, to say the least. Gonna have to do some fixing of this thing later, too. Like, bits of where stuff is slipping around and stuff. Normally I would have something to at least attach this to, this already cooked piece. Okay, so I'm gonna just attach that there and then kind of use my blade to do that, and then try to fix it from there. So as you can see, I just wedged it down into there, and then I could just go back through and replace some of that wood grain that I was missing. And there we go. That is how I do wooden boxes. Now, if you're gonna do this, take my advice and try to do most of this easier. Especially with this, these edges. Originally, I started off by putting them on and then cutting them into a square again. But I found it's easier to just put on a plank, like right here. right here I did. I mean, it still works. It still looks like wood. And once I paint it, it'll probably look fine. It's just an old box in this case. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in part 2 when I paint these. Bye.